I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but if you go to the playlist on my channel, I have a lot of different categories. I've tried to narrow them down so you can find certain videos that fit in certain categories of the type of content that I do. I actually feature two of my favorite series that I like to talk about on my channel is just shenanigans, which is stuff that maybe it's funny, maybe it's not, so it's a little lighthearted. And then you got the stuff that's really, really crazy called funeral home foolery. Why do I call it funeral home foolery? Because it usually involves something to do with a funeral home, whether it be them being involved. The story wraps around a funeral home. In this case, this story actually qualifies for that. As you can see, this woman, the look on her face on the screen tells everything that you need to know. But before we get into the details, let me give you a disclaimer. And again, shout out to our friend in the chat, Mommy of Three.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
And I'm getting this story from Daily Mail. We have not done a Daily Mail article in a while, and I'm going to tell y'all why, Daily Mail. Because you got too many ads on here. My goodness, like it slows my whole computer down. Start out, throw that out there. I love to read more from them, but that's why it's a little bit crazy. A 1-year-old toddler, this baby that you guys see on my screen, and I was lucky that I took the time to continue looking for this baby's image, and we were able to find it. So this is indeed her. A 1-year-old toddler was found dead in the back of a hearse, a funeral hearse, the vehicle, the hearse. And her mother has been now charged with this baby's murder. That individual right there. The little girl that you guys saw on my screen, we'll get back to that individual here in a moment. This baby, her name is Blessence Pearl. Let me say that again, like blessed in essence, blessings. Honestly, I'm not always crazy about ghetto names that the black community gives their kids because I think you should give your kids names that mean something. In this case, blessed in essence absolutely means something. I like it. I like it. So this is this baby's name. Beautiful little angel. Was found dead in the back of a hearse and her mother has been charged with murder. Blessings was discovered by an employee of the West Gadsden Funeral Home in Alabama when he opened the hearse at about 1:45 a.m. on Saturday. So I want you guys to understand this is a thing to where I guess they're thinking like nobody's going to come messing with their vehicle. So he just left it unlocked, not intentionally, but she's just thinking like, what? Why would anybody come mess with our vehicle? So he just left it unlocked, which is how she was able to gain access to it. The little girl's mother, by the name of Terica Pearl, Terica Pearl, 29 years, stupid, with that stupid look on her face, with this stupid, slow look on her face. This girl looks slower than a bottle of molasses. She looks like she would lose a race to a turtle. She looks slower than global warming. Okay? Yes, I said that. She was arrested that evening and booked into the Etowah County Jail, or Etowah, whatever, County Jail without a bond at 1:48 a.m. charged with murder, which means premeditation. Gadsden Police Lieutenant Dusty Ford initially said Blessings' death, that's a tongue twister, was being investigated as a homicide until they could prove otherwise. In under 12 hours, the investigation moved from uncertainty to arrest, he said. However, how the child died and how she ended up in the hearse is unclear, but funeral home director Dantes Robinson said it was usually left unlocked. Because who would think to go to a funeral home and start messing with the cars? I think only a crazy person would do that. And if you look at this, judging a book by its cover, she looks like she fits the mold of a crazy person. I was going to say a crazy something else, but I'm trying to not get all my videos knocked off on YouTube, okay? I'm trying to get better. Blessings is not the first child that Pearl has lost. Let me read that again. Her full name, Blessings Iraine Lene Pearl. Beautiful little girl. This is not the first child that this this black queen, has lost. Her 4-week-old daughter, Janiyah, died in a house fire in February of 2011 when Pearl was just 15. Coincidence? How many of y'all think that's a coincidence? Not losing one, but you lost two. And somehow it wasn't your fault, right? Reports at the time indicated the blaze began in the room. Let me say it again. The blaze began in the room where Janiyah slept and spread throughout the home. So it started in the baby's room. Go figure. Carlos Blunt explained how he found Blessings' body as he spoke at a vigil for the girl on Sunday. And I quote, "I got 4 girls of my own and I know how it feels. I couldn't even work yesterday because that could have been one of mine or anybody else's kids," he said. Other members of Blessings' family mourned her at the vigil but did not speak publicly. Robinson, who was also Etowah County Chief Deputy Coroner, explained the series of events that led to the body's discovery. He explained in a video on social media, and I think I could show y'all one of those videos, that he returned from the scene of a death at about 8 p.m. on Friday and left the hearse unlocked. "We never had a problem with people going into our cars at the office. I laid the keys down where the keys go and out the door I went," he said. So pretty normal stuff. Blunt arrived at 11:30 a.m. and noticed what he thought was a doll in the back of a hearse. He was about to move it into the shed. That has got to be, even though they deal with dead bodies all the time, you don't get normalized to that. That has got to be a crazy, freaky, scary thing to discover. It's like stuff that nightmares are made of. Could y'all imagine that? You go into work expecting to just move an empty car and you realize not only has somebody been in that car, but somebody dumped this baby off as if it were just garbage at the funeral home, and you wouldn't expect for somebody to just intentionally pop up over there. I said intentionally. So anyway, let's keep going. Got to scroll a little bit. When he opened the hearse and took a closer look, he discovered to his horror that it was a toddler's body, a dead body. To see that and to see my employee in disbelief, I was at loss for words when I put the call out to the police department, he said. "It's pathetic. Whoever did this, whoever is behind it, turn yourselves in. We want justice for this baby. Babies do not ask to be here." And I 100% agree with that statement. To do this, you're sick in the head. I've walked into homes every day. I've walked up to car wrecks every day. I've walked into suicides throughout the year. I've walked into homicides. I've seen kids pass away. But to see something like this really sent me to another level of shock. It's traumatizing, yes. Robinson said that he would make sure Blessings got the proper burial. "Whoever this family is, whoever did this, we're going to bury this baby." What he's saying is that they're going to cover the cost for the family, which is awesome of them. Now, I do believe that the states actually have a fund for that. So if we've already got funds set aside for that, I would hope that they will allow the state to do some of their part. But if they want to provide the rest, I think that would be an awesome thing to do. So shout out to that funeral home. "We're going to give this baby the proper burial. To have a life taken so early, we're going to stand up and bury this baby." So I commend them for that. Let me give you guys the fair usage. I only got a couple news videos for this. Let's get into it. Let's go. Oh, wrong one.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
If y'all would do me a favor and continue to please hit that thumbs up. Thank you guys for sharing this video. So if you're watching, stop for a moment and please click that thumbs up. It means more to us than you know. Smash that thumbs up and it will help share this video. Let me make this a little bit bigger on the screen so you guys can see more of the full video. If I can get it there. There we go. A little bit better.
We now know how investigators say a 1-year-old baby found in the back of a hearse was killed. According to court records, 1-year-old Blessence Pearl was strangled, and the suspect is her mother, Terica Pearl. She's charged with capital murder. Investigators found Blessence's body in the back of a hearse Saturday morning in Gadsden at a funeral home there. The workers told our Reggie Kyle they thought it was a doll until they opened the door and made that awful discovery. Police say this case has been so difficult to work, as you can imagine. So many of them are parents. But as they are finding out more, they say it becomes even more difficult to bear and comprehend. The suspect is now being held in the Etowah County Jail under no bond. We are continuing to ask questions about this case, and we'll keep you updated on the WBRC News app.
VTM 13 News begins with breaking news.
That breaking news, court documents claim the baby found dead in a hearse was strangled. Thanks for joining us. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Brittany Decker. The Gadsden community continues to mourn the death of 21-month-old Blessence Pearl. That baby girl found in a hearse over the weekend, and her mother, Terica Pearl, is facing capital murder charges.
WVTM 13's Bryce Oslin live and local at the West Gadsden Funeral Home with new information, Bryce.
Yeah, the arrest warrant for Terica Pearl accuses her of strangling her young daughter to death. But just last night, people gathered here in Gadsden to honor and uplift the young life of Blessence Pearl. And funeral arrangements are being made as we speak, but the family has yet to decide on a day. And we are learning more and more about her death. According to the warrant, Pearl is accused of strangling her daughter on Saturday with a thick rope string. While we are finding out more about what happened, the question remains tonight: how did Blessence end up in the hearse?
I don't want to speak too much. I do know we did have an unlocked vehicle, hearse, here on Friday night. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about that. I think that would need to come from the investigators.
And Pearl is being held without bond in the Etowah County Jail. Coming up at 5, what the support from the community means to the family. Live in Gadsden, Bryce Oslin, WVTM 13.
A Gadsden woman behind bars and charged with the murder of a baby found dead in a hearse yesterday morning. The Gadsden Police Department arrested 29-year-old Terica Pearl in connection with the investigation. Etowah County Jail records show Pearl was booked for a murder charge around 2 o'clock this morning. Both the funeral home and police say they're shocked.
On Saturday morning, the inside of this hearse became a crime scene. A Gadsden police homicide investigation after employees found a dead baby inside.
I'm sure somebody is missing a kid. It's somebody's loved one. It is an African-American baby.
Dantez Robinson, the owner of West Gadsden Funeral Home, tells WBRC the baby girl appeared to be less than 3 years old. His employees were returning from a call when someone thought they saw a doll in the hearse.
I got a call from one of my employees. They was getting ready last night. We went out on a pickup, and this morning, we get back. He was getting ready to do some grounds work, and we get back to find a infant baby inside of one of the hearses.
To be clear, the baby was not in a casket. Gadsden police saying she appears to have been placed here. Neighbors on scene just shocked at the news.
When you come into something like this, you're encountering not only the community's worst day, but it could be yours too. Because like you said, a lot of us do have children.
Gadsden police are not releasing the name of the child out of respect to the family. According to police, this case will now be moving forward through the judicial process.
Olivia, also breaking, we're learning disturbing new information in the case of a toddler found dead in a hearse outside a Gadsden funeral home. Police have arrested the baby girl's mother. ABC 3340's Gracie Johnson joins us now from the newsroom. Gracie, do court documents detail what happened to the toddler?
Brenda, court filings reveal 29-year-old Tarika Pearl has been charged with capital murder. She's accused of strangling her daughter, 1-year-old Blessence Pearl, with a thick rope string. I learned from Etowah County District Attorney Jody Willoughby that Pearl is now being held without bond. A weekend discovery in Gadsden is leaving a community grieving and searching for answers. Police say a toddler girl is dead, and a woman officials say is the child's mother is facing a capital murder charge after the child was found at a local funeral home.
We are so sad that this happened, but we thank God that we have got down to the nitty-gritty of the situation.
The discovery happened outside West Gadsden Funeral Home, where investigators say the child was found inside a hearse that had been parked overnight.
I didn't lock the car. I'm just being honest. We haven't never had a problem with people going into our cars at the office.
Robinson identified the toddler as Blessence Pearl. Police were called immediately and the area was sealed off while the forensics unit collected evidence. By early Sunday morning, officers had arrested 29-year-old Tarika Pearl.
A lot of us didn't know the baby, but it's the heart of our people that loves this innocent child.
On Sunday night, neighbors and loved ones gathered for a vigil to remember Blessence. The funeral home announced they will not charge the family for her service. We are still working to learn what led up to the killing and how long the toddler may have been inside the hearse.
Did y'all notice how they had candles out there? Can I back that up for a second? Y'all see this? No balloons. No balloons. Stop doing balloon releases. Candles are much better, especially tea light candles. They're cheap and they don't nearly destroy as much stuff as balloons do. I hate to see people do that and destroy their communities, and some places becoming illegal. But I'd much rather see candles.
Pearl remains in the Etowah County Jail being held without bond. Now, this is a developing story, and we will continue to provide updates as we learn more. Muriel.
So needless to say, this is definitely funeral home foolery that is going on here. Why she chose this place, I don't know. You just don't know why people do something as stupid as this. Like, this woman doesn't look very bright at all. And the fact that she lost a kid in a house fire, which I think is suspicious, now that you have the death of 2 children and you find out that this little baby's neck was clearly tied up with a string and strangled to death. Not an accident from what we can tell, right? From what we can tell, this does not seem like an accident, okay? So there's a good chance that she's probably going to get a premeditated murder charge on this. This should be a slam dunk case, should be easy, and I think this baby deserves that justice. And shout out to the funeral home for saying that they will cover for this baby's burial services for the family. I think they deserve that. And this little girl, she could have given custody up of this baby. That's why we had this hashtag called Babies for Benefits. Why does she keep having kids and she clearly don't want them? Don't give me mental illness or anything like that, because they're going to this with a choice, knowing what their body does. I'm sorry, but if you don't know that your vaginal walls can produce kids, then you probably shouldn't be a parent if you don't realize how that works. So if you do know how your biology works, then you're doing this on purpose. You're not accidentally getting pregnant. You know what your bodily functions do. Therefore, if you don't want to have them, why are you doing this? Behaving this way and then expecting to get some sympathy when things go wrong, and you come up with these sympathetic, empathetic, pathetic terms like postpartum depression, mental illness, and she wasn't on her meds, y'all. She was going through things. I wonder what she was going. I don't give a shit what she was going through. I don't. It just needs to be punished to the furthest extent of the law. The quicker that they can stop her from breathing on this planet Earth as a punishment, I think that'd be better, right? But nothing less than a life sentence in prison, nothing else would suffice. So to that little baby, let me get her back up on the screen here. That is Blessings Pearl. Get this angel back up here. I love her name. Her name actually does mean something. And Blessings deserved every opportunity to grow up and become something great. So Princess, R.I.P. You ask where the dads, I would have loved to hear from a father. Sometimes in some of these stories, we're hearing from them. That's great. But too often, we don't hear anything from the biological fathers. If we did, they'd be on the news. There's a good chance that if they wanted to speak, the news would put them on. We would see it, but you don't see that happening, okay? So, again, our thoughts and prayers go with the rest of the family. And I hope that we get justice against her, okay? Thank you.